it's very interesting the more you delve into all of this. In a moment, we're going to be talking to Royal Historian Professor Kate Williams. But first of all, let's go live to Toronto in Canada. And there's reporter Lainey Louis, who is outraged by all of this. And Lainey, we'll come to that in just a moment. But in your role as a journalist, I think the public here in Britain, it all started out so well. She did a walk around Nottingham. Harry is probably the most likeable of the royals. And then all these seeming restrictions came on board. Don't take pictures of me. We're not going to tell you who the godparents of our children are. We're not even going to tell you the name of our new pet dog. And it seems to be a bit distant, especially since they are taking money from the public purse. So in your journalistic capacity, could you perhaps offer her some PR advice?
I don't know that she needs PR advice from me. I would like to offer some advice to the British media, because all the things that you listed about why people are upset, like the demands for privacy and the spending, if there is to be criticism, I don't know why she's bearing 85 to 95% of it. She is married to a member of the royal family. His name is Prince Harry. And so I don't know why she's taking the lion's share of whether or not it's valid criticism, why it's landing on her. That's the question I would have for those in the British media who are insisting that they're treating her fairly.
Well, you do know why it's landing at her. If you have an uppy attitude, you're only through the door 2 minutes, and suddenly you're sitting at Wimbledon and your royal protection people are saying, no photograph. You would be the first. If that was somebody in Canada, you would be writing, they're right up their own backside.
I don't know. I don't
know
if I would. I don't know that I would want Beyonce to have somebody jamming his phone up in her face when she was watching Wimbledon.
The phone wasn't in her face.
I think the dude was like right up in there.
Okay.
And there are lots of photographers standing around, professional photographers.
Those with a job, surely.
So this person, if it's a viewer of the match, I don't know why he has to run up and get the phone.
But however, interesting to your reaction.
Can I ask you, Lainey, have you met her? Did you meet Meghan?
I've met her once.
And what did you make of her then?
I thought she was really nice. We had a nice 15, 20-minute conversation about our dogs. She had 2 dogs at the time.
Did she tell you the name of the dogs? It's all changed now. You don't get to know the dog's name nowadays.
She did. She did tell me the name. It was before, obviously, she met Prince Harry. So yeah, I knew the names of the dogs. We had a breed in common. She's a beagle. I have 2 beagles. So we had a pleasant conversation over dinner.
Okay.
I think as well, it's the amount. Eamonn mentioned the public purse there. They're living in Frogmore Cottage. The estimated bill is coming to about £3 million. Can you understand why a lot of the British public are saying, hang on, we're paying for you, we're paying for the refurbishment of your home. Why can't you then share with us, you know, the name of your dogs? Why can't you allow somebody to take a selfie if they're nearby? Nobody's really hurting you when we're basically paying for your lifestyle.
I think that it's completely valid to have criticisms about how the British royal family spends money. And Will and Kate have also refurbished Kensington Palace, and they spent a lot of money on that too. I do think that there's a line, like, you know, do we need to know what toilet paper they use? What benefit to us is it to know the names of the dogs? There was a lot of criticism about the christening and the first photos, but when you think about it...
why not? But why not? What harm does it do? I understand what you're saying, you know, well, who cares? But then there's some people saying, well, I'd just quite like to know. What's the big secret?
I think the big secret is the dogs are like one thing. The children, you know the names of the children. You've seen the picture of the child at the christening. I think what people don't like is change. Everything that's been complained about is we're not getting the pictures. We're not being invited to the introduction of the baby. But weren't we? Didn't we get the pictures of Prince Louis? Didn't we get the portraits? Weren't they released? Didn't we get to see the christening photos? So everything that was complained about being held back was actually delivered to us.
Yeah.
Per usual.
But it doesn't seem to be, Lainey, and I want to bring in, I want you to stay there, Lainey, and I want to bring in our royal historian here as well. But I think the thing, Lainey, I'm trying to say is it doesn't seem to be done in a willing, joyous, inclusive way. And Kate, I want to ask you from your point of view, is that a change in mood intact? And I think the point is there is this tremendous love for them, this tremendous joy to welcome her in. And now people are thinking, oh, this is not being reciprocated.
Well, I think there's been a lot of criticism of Meghan from the beginning. I mean, we know that the first time we realised Prince Harry was actually dating Meghan was because there was the press release from Kensington Palace saying she'd suffered racism, there'd been people invading her privacy. So pretty much, I feel there hasn't been a change. I think Meghan has suffered criticism right from the beginning. There was a sort of flowering of happiness around the wedding, but she's had a tough time the whole time. And I think Lainey's got a lot of really important points there. And for me, everyone who marries into the royal family has a tough time. Prince Philip was called a Nazi, even though he'd fought on the Allied side. We know what happened to Princess Diana. And Kate had a lot of criticism in her family. But Meghan's having it the worst of all. There's all things that she does that all the other royals have done, she is criticised for. And whether it's...
Do you think the fact she's an American doesn't help her?
I think
that we kind of go, it's the American who's come over here and taken our Prince Harry.
Well, you know, Prince Harry, you know, right from when Prince Harry was born, there were articles about who he was going to marry. And they were all aristocrats for the castle. And Prince Harry has chosen someone completely different. He's chosen an American lady, a woman with a career, a woman of colour. And that, I think, is his choice. And we have to respect that. And he obviously adores her. I mean, I am a big defender of Meghan. I think she's a wonderful breath of fresh air. And
Isn't it too easy, though, for people to say, oh, it's racist, that people don't like her?
Racist.
You know, that it was very much embraced that she was of mixed race, mixed heritage, that was coming into our royal family. That seemed to be embraced at the time. Is it now not an easy excuse? Any criticism, people say, oh, well, it's racist.
Well, I think there was racism from the beginning. Her mother, there was talk of her being straight out of Compton when she lived in LA. I think there has been racism, and people talk about Meghan, they use words like outsider when they never said that about Kate, and they use words like different. And Prince Harry was talking yesterday about unconscious racism, saying that people say, oh, I'm not racist, but I see her as different. And I do think some of the things that have been said, I think there's anti-Americanism, I think there's sexism, but I think there's a lot of racism.
Lainey felt there that she couldn't offer any PR advice, and I think people want to love them, want to embrace them, people want to feel their affection reciprocated. Could you offer, how do you think this could be made better?
Well, I think Meghan's done some wonderful things. I think the Together cookbook was fantastic. I think when she went to the project that worked with the sex workers, I think what she's doing with Smart Works, the charity, I think her charity, her patronage, the work she's doing, I think what she's doing is really incredible. And I think the Vogue edition looks fantastic, very empowering. I think she's doing a lot of, yes, I think there are a few mistakes, maybe Wimbledon, but you think about, you know, the Wimbledon photos, but what you think about what Kate suffered, topless photos of her in a swimming costume, what Princess Diana suffered, and how Prince Harry is so protective of her, you can see how he panics about media intrusion and worries if it's true that they've had people trying to break into their house just to get pictures. I think, and we've got features saying that because Meghan eats avocados, there's a massive drought. Well, there are many people who eat avocados. I think that there's valid criticism for the royals about spending, all of them, the carbon footprint, how much they spend, but Meghan, I think, is doing a great job.
Well, listen, really appreciate both you, Lainey, and Professor Kate. Thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
You've got the debate really going. If you've got something to say about this, get in touch. We'll try and reflect that before the end of the programme.